As ChaseWins.com coming to you for Saturday, September the 12th. Hope everyone had a great week, a good Friday, kicked off the weekend the right way with a big winning day. So let's do a recap. It is getting later in the day. I was going to do a free play last night and started studying games. Obviously, with the reintroduction of college football back into the lineup, weekends are going to get much busier. And so, again, I know people are excited about college football coming back, the NFL coming back, and they got even more excited when we went out there and had a big, easy first win on the NFL season. But what people have to realize is just because it's back doesn't mean we're going to have a ton of action in week one. I mean, obviously, it's not technically week one for college football, but at the same token, it is for so many teams that have not played over the past couple of weeks. And it's not only week one. And so never on week one do you see me go out there and release a ton of plays because all you have to go off of is last year. And that's the problem with most handicappers in this business is they talk about trends. Trends. Let's talk about trends for a second because that's always their argument is trends. When, number one, what does trends have to do with anything? Nothing. That shouldn't be your reason for placing hard-earned money and investing into a team, a game, a player, or a matchup, whatever you want to consider it. I'm sorry, it's just not. Not only that, in the game of football, especially when it comes to college football, and the same goes for college basketball, trends mean less than nothing because it's nothing more than a coincidence. You have people that'll come out and say that LSU is 5-1 against the spread in its last 6 matchups against SEC West opponents on Saturday games, Saturday afternoon games at 4:30 or earlier when the weather is 78 degrees or colder. I mean, they go off of just complete nonsense. It's all a coincidence that they're 5-1 against the spread against those opponents. It all has to do with who they're playing, and they'll go back and they'll say, okay, they're 5-1 against this particular team in these situations. So now you're going to go back 5-6 years where these coaches, none of these players, hell, the athletic director wasn't even the same. So you're basing players that have not been at that university or on that team for the last half decade. That's going to be part of your reason to bet on a team now? It's absurd. It is absurd. Had somebody tell me the other day I put out a bet and I was fading the Kansas City Royals. This is about 2 weeks ago. And we faded them, and I think that the Kansas City Royals were – their opponent was laying like $1.45 or $1.50, something like that. All that stuff. And the person emailed me and said, I want to see your reasonings for this because Kansas City or, Brady Singer is this, great pitcher. And at that time, he had not thrown one single pitch that validates backing him up with any legitimate money. Not one. This is weeks before he almost threw a no-hitter against a team that is struggling amongst the top in all of Major League Baseball. But then it says that they are, their record is impeccable when they are underdogs of 140 or more, or that their opponent's favored by 140 or more. That's a coincidence. It's not a trend. And lo and behold, Kansas City got absolutely railroaded that night because I go off of actual stats, actual facts, actual meaningful things, not a useless coincidence that we like to label as a trend in this industry. Don't buy into all this stuff. So again, in college football and college athletics, when you go into week one for a team, all you have to go off of is the previous year. You can go off of the spring game. You can go off of summer workouts. You can read reports, all that, and you can read internal scouting reports. What the team has said about a player or about their offensive line or about their group of receivers or about their backs. You can read those things. Keep in mind they're going to be a little bit biased because it's their team. They're wanting to hope that they can portray them as being better than they are if they're completely failing at the kids they recruited. But again, these teams have not lined up against another team. They've gone out there and literally just practiced all year. The spring game that they had was against what? Their own team. So again, if that's what you're basing it off of, you're probably set to lose a lot of money. So again, you're having to base it off of last year. What do you do in that situation? You can say, here's your returning starters. Here's what they did last year against this particular opponent. Well, then you look at the other side and say, well, this particular opponent, who did they have returning? Who are their new people? What do we know about these new people? Are they transfers? Are they fresh out of high school? Have they been on the team for 2 years but have yet to start? All these things come into play, which means that in weeks 1 and 2, if you go out there and just start firing money based on something that happened a year ago, you're asking for trouble. You have to make your own scouting reports, and it has to come from validation from them actually playing in a game. So again, come week 3 and 4, we'll be playing college football at a higher volume than probably anybody in the industry. But not until I can have a true scouting report made on every single team that I have interest in investing into. And it's not going to happen week 1. But anyway, we've already got a couple of games posted. One just started. We've got another one going at 3:30. We're going to talk about a night game. I may have a couple of night picks going tonight. We'll have Major League Baseball, and I'm also looking into the NBA and the NHL. So we're going to have a big day. But anyway, let's do a recap for what we did on Friday, and then we'll get on a free play. And then also, I want you guys to know that the 1-year all-access pass, the buy one, get one free promo we're running with that, does end tomorrow. Patrick's NASCAR promo, where you can get the remainder of his season, 9 races for $199. That ends at the start of tomorrow's race. So don't miss out on any of that, guys, because once it's gone, it's gone. And I know that I'll get emails going, oh, I didn't know it was ending that quick. Can you still give me the deal? No. So anyway, yesterday, free play, which was a premium play, as most of them always are, was the Phillies in the Marlins over 6 runs in game 1 of the doubleheader. That was an easy win. Philadelphia scored, 11 runs by themselves, 12 runs by themselves. I mean, it was a blowout. Complete bloodbath. It went over in the 4th inning. So easy win there for another free play winner. So congrats to everyone there. Everybody that follows my free plays, you are winning day after day after day after day. We've only lost 4 free plays. It's either 3 or 4 free plays since coming back from the sports hiatus. Best free plays in the business, hands down. There's nobody winning free plays at the rate that we are. So we had a win there. The one loss that is very hard to accept is we did have the Atlanta Braves yesterday against the Washington Nationals. Nationals started off the game good. They generated a lot. They were up, I think, 6-0 at one point. Then the Braves offense really started to get into rhythm. Right now, they are the most potent offense in baseball. You would say the Dodgers or the Padres or somebody like that. But if you actually look at statistics, and you look at, because every team has a core group of 3. So if you look at the Padres and you say that, their core group of 3 is led off by Tatis and Machado. The core 3 for the Dodgers are led off by Bellinger and Mookie Betts. Gavin Lux is now in that mix. If you look at teams like the Nationals, where you're talking about Castro and Soto. And, of course, the Braves, you look at their core group led off by Acuna and Freeman. I'm not a Freddie Freeman fan. Love Acuna. Statistically, the big 3, that's what you would consider, the strongest big 3 in baseball resides with the Braves. And right now, the best batting average in baseball spanning back the last 10 days is also the Atlanta Braves. So it took them a little while. It took them till about the 6th inning, and then their offense really started to do what we know they do. And they came back, they tied the game up in the 8th, and then in the 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th inning, they were all stranding batters. In the 10th, 11th, and 12th inning, they loaded the bases up. Remember, you get the ghost runner at second to start in extra innings, which is that's not real baseball. That's a bullshit minor league rule that should have never been implemented into this year's Major League season, despite the changes. But if you look at that, and they not only had that, but in the 10th, 11th, and 12th inning, they load the bases up with 1 or no outs and not a single run across the plate. That's a problem. And so at the bottom of the 12th, Washington finally got one across to win 8-7. Anybody that watched that game knows we were on the right side of it. And 3 different occasions, anybody would have said, game's over, Braves are going to win. And they just didn't cross the plate. So we had to take that loss, unfortunately. So moving on for that, we had the New York Mets minus 140 on the run line. That was an easy blowout. I mean, they absolutely destroyed them. I mean, the Mets killed them. The best offensive game the Mets have played all year. Then we get over into the New York Yankees and the Baltimore Orioles, game 2 of the doubleheader, over in that game, another easy winner. Then we get into our top play of the day, which was the Tampa Bay Rays on the run line. Very similar to what happened in the Mets game, one of their best offensive performances of the season. So not only another win, but a top play win there. That keeps us completely undefeated this year in daily top plays for MLB. And had it not been for a complete fluke of a loss on the Dodgers the other night, we would be completely undefeated altogether in MLB top plays for 2020. So unfortunately, we've got to eat that one, but another top play winner nonetheless. The only loss that we took in Major League Baseball that I'm willing to really accept as just being on the wrong side of it was we had the Twins and the Indians over 6.5, and that just neither team really got off the bus offensively. So another fantastic day in Major League Baseball. I mean, we absolutely killed it. With the top play, you made a shit ton of profit. And another great day from the MLB King. We also had an NBA action yesterday. Even though we're not playing a ton of NBA, we are quietly killing the NBA as we have been all season. Yesterday, we had the Boston Celtics minus 2.5 to finish off that series and take care of Toronto. A lot of people didn't like that play, but they took care of business, winning by 5. So another winner there. That puts us at 4 straight winners in the NBA. And even though we're only playing the NBA every few days, we're quietly killing the NBA win after win after win. So there may be the potential of an NBA game tonight. That remains to be seen. But let's get on a free play. We're going to talk about the team that I absolutely despise more than anything on earth, and that is the Clemson Tigers taking on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. What I'm looking at in this game is not the side. Do I think that Clemson could win by 32 or 32.5, whatever they're sitting at right now? Absolutely. Matter of fact, they should. They are returning so many starters from last year. They've got the best defensive line in in football statistically. If you actually look at the numbers, their core group of receivers, I wouldn't say is the most talented, but they're most certainly the most experienced. Trevor Lawrence is probably the best quarterback in college football going into this season. Last year, obviously, you had Joe Burrow that excelled above him. I still think that the style of football that is played nowadays, Jalen Hurts was very talented and could be in that argument. I don't think that Trevor Lawrence is as good as people praise him to be in the areas that they praise him to be in. They consider him this dominant mobile threat. He's too long and lanky for that. He's successful now, but that's when you're lining up against ACC opponents, most of which can't get out of their own way. When you really talk about them having to play against SEC opponents or Big Ten opponents, him running is going to be his demise. People will refer back to the Florida State game where he made one good play. He almost got his fucking legs tore out from under him on that one too, and that could have been the end of his career. He has to stay put because he's going to go first round, if not first overall in the next draft. And you know what? Well deserved. But when he lines up against a professional football team, if he wants to get squirrely and do this fancy stuff and try to be a Jalen Hurts or try to be a Tua or try to be someone like a Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes, he won't last 2 years in the NFL because they will destroy him. He's too long, he's too lanky, and he's not quite fast enough. But one thing that he plays the quarterback position well. He is a pocket passer through and through. He's got the height for it. He's got tremendous arm strength. So if he'll just play that position and stop letting Dabo be the person that's going to get him hurt, then when he gets to the NFL, not only can he find success, he can be a champion early. And you know what? I do not have any respect for Dabo Swinney, for that university, for that program, but they every once in a while find players that I just can't help but like, and Trevor is one of those guys, just like DeAndre Hopkins. Deshaun Watson, He's a loser. But I like Trevor. Outside, I think that Trevor, truth be told, is the most talented quarterback that has come through that university since Charlie Whitehurst. Period. You can say what you want about Taj Boyd. He proved that he wasn't dog shit in someone's backyard. Deshaun Watson's proved that he can't do anything without an elite receiver downfield, knowing what kind of bullshit he's going to throw. But today, even though Clemson should win this game by 40 plus with ease, without even trying, they should be able to have their second string run the entire fourth quarter and still win by 40 plus points. I think the value is in a very soft total. Because if we go back and look at years of this Dabo Swinney era, they do like to run up the score, so I'll give them that. They don't like to hold back. Trevor especially likes to prove he can put points on the board and do it fast. We know Clemson's going to break away on the run and on the pass multiple times in this game. I project seeing 28 points by drives that take less than a minute. Because on the first or second snap of the drive, they're going to break a tackle and go for 60 or 70 yards. Or Trevor's going to let one loose, the receiver's going to break away from his defender, and there's going to be a 60, 70, 80-yard play for a touchdown. I think we see that at least once every quarter. But now you're saying that's only 28 points. Go back and look. How many times throughout history where you have Clemson being favored by 4, 5, 6 touchdowns? And you know they can win it. They should win a game 50-0. How often do they shut a team down? Like completely shut them out and don't let them get in the end zone. I can't think of a single time. They've come close. I'm talking about a game where they were favored by 5 touchdowns and didn't let a team get in the end zone. It just doesn't happen. Wake Forest was very, very talented last year. That coach, I love him. And I think for what he had last year, he found all of the talents within all of his players. None of these guys are here anymore, so the problem is he's going to have to start over. But I think that even though we don't know a lot about these people, and it's going to take time, I think that he's going to find success quicker than most would think. People think he was blessed to have what he did, and he was. But look at who they were coming before his program. He brought the best out in him, and he'll do it again. It may take him a year, but he'll find it. And I think that he's a smart enough coach to find enough weakness to get in the end zone at least once. And I also think that he knows that when Clemson gets gassed a little bit, or they finally take their foot off the gas a little bit because of having such a big lead, he'll capitalize on that and saying, you know what, we might still get beat by 50, but it's the pride factor of let's get in the end zone every time we have an opportunity, whether it's our talent or them letting their guard down. No matter what it is, we want to see points on the board as often as we can get them. So I think that we're going to see multiple scores by Wake Forest, even if it's stretched out across the entire game. And I just think that how talented Clemson is, you're not going to keep them under 40, period. Truth be told, I think we see Clemson breach that 50 mark, and I think that Wake Forest could do the rest. I think, truth be told, if Dabo makes his guys play an entire 4 quarters and gets everything out of him he can, I think Clemson reaches 60 alone. I just think that if we go off of letting history repeat itself with the players that are taking the field for Clemson, you're not going to keep them under 40 points. They're more than likely going to hit 50, maybe a little above. And I don't think that they're going to prevent Wake Forest from getting in the end zone at least once, probably twice. So I think that 60 is too low. You might be getting it at 60.5. I'm okay with that. I've got to go with the numbers. I've got to go with over in a game that I think should hit 70 points with time left on the clock. Give me the over 60 points in Clemson versus Wake Forest. That is your free play for the day, and that's probably going to be a premium play on the card. Make sure you go to chasewins.com, get linked up, stop sitting on the sidelines. Get with the best service in the business, the service that is going to make you the most money, the most profit, no bullshit, and do it day in and day out consistently. I'll see you in the winner's circle. Make sure you get linked up. Let me know if you have any questions, and let's go have another big weekend.